15 million members, empowered to learn, to create, to grow, to harvest, to lead, to dream. Equity. Karibu member.
Good afternoon. Thank you for creating time for us. It is the Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to every dad. You're just in time for the Lunchtime news. This is KBC. It is the 17th day in the month of June 2022. 52 days to the next general election. Political leaders continue to traverse the country. These as they hunt for votes ahead of the August polls. The Azimio la Umoja is this afternoon in the county of Murang'a, Central Kenya. This as Kenya Kwanza is in Vihiga, Western Kenya. We have able teams on the ground. Do interact with us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. My name is Irene Muchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Lansa Odingo. Taxi drivers in the city of Nakuru have urged the county government to reconsider move to do away with parking slots within the central business district. Nakuru is set to embark on a project to redesign the city by introducing non-motorized transport systems at a cost of 80 million shillings.
Speaking to the press, the operators say the move will push them out of the central business district and spell doom to their businesses.
Leo tumekutana hapa kama wafanyabiashara wa taxi sababu ya ile unyanyasaji huko hapa kwa hii county yetu ya Nakuru. Governor ambao alioko ni governor ambao anafukuza wafanyabiashara ya uchukuzi. Alianza na matatu, sasa amepanga kufukuza watu wa taxi kwa hii town.
They lamented that they are already feeling the weight of their ongoing projects after the county government banned them from waiting for clients within the town a year ago.
Ndio unaona ya kwamba hata ile koti ambao wanalipa ya parking imeenda juu na amekataa kukaa chini na wafanyabiashara wa taxi vile alikataa kukaa chini na wafanyabiashara ya matatu.
On Wednesday, Governor Kinyanjui, who inspected the ongoing project, defended the move, saying it was aimed at making Nakuru city friendly to people and not just vehicles and their owners.
Miji yetu imekuwa ni miji ambaye inaangalia sana sana masuala ya wale wako na gari. Our cities are made for vehicles, but we are saying a modern city should be people friendly and not for vehicles. Parking zikitengenezwa lakini hamukuweza kuelewa ni ya nini. Na tuseme ukweli ni kwamba hapa Nakuru tangu tuinue Nakuru mji uwe city, tungetaka pia wale ambao wanatembea huku wawe na mahali ya kutembea. Ukitembea uchoke, unapata bench mahali ambapo unaweza pumzika, uchukue simu, ama kama unaumwa na mguu unaweza kupata nafuu kidogo.
Elvis Otieno for Lunchtime News.
Residents from 8 villages in Isiolo County have presented a petition to the county commissioner demanding an immediate solution to an ongoing land dispute with the Kenya Defence Forces. The villages are accusing the military of reneging on an agreement signed in 1981 which allowed military to use parts of their land for training.
Led by Kuresha Bail and Joyce Nairisai, The residents marched from Burat through the streets of Isiolo, claiming that the soldiers are now shifting from the marked boundary and putting up permanent structures outside the agreed area.
Wakati walipoa title deed, hakuna wananchi wa Burat walikalishwa chini ama walihamasishwa ya kwamba jeshi wanataka ardhi. Na nikikumbuka kidogo, wazazi yetu ndio wale walipatiana hiyo ardhi, walipatiana eka 100 na waliweka hata waliweza kufence, na sisi tuliheshimu hiyo fencing, waliweza kukaa fence yao na sisi tuliweza kukaa kwetu. Lakini saa hii ile fence ni kama haifanyi kazi, ile eka 100 ni kama wamedai zaidi, na sisi kama wakaaji wa Burat tukaona ni mzuri tujitetea haki. Demonstration iko kwa katiba, tunaruhusiwa kufanya demonstration.
The military allegedly issued a 30 days eviction notice in the year 2019 September, requiring the over 20,000 residents living in the 8 villages to vacate their land. The move forced the locals to seek legal redress to stop the eviction pending the hearing and determination of the case.
Unakuta the county government of Isiolo is not responding. NLC, National Land Commission, I respond katika kesi yetu. Tukaamua kuchukua hatua kama wananchi wa Burat kuja tena kilio na kuanza kilio yetu tena upya ili serikali iweze kutusikiza kupitia kwa ofisi ya county commissioner.
They accused the military of blocking the Lewa River, which the locals rely on for farming and other domestic uses.
Kwangu ni Burat. Niko na shamba pale, niko na ploti pale, watoto wangu wamezaliwa pale. Leo jeshi wanasema hiyo ardhi ni yetu. Jeshi ni ya kutunyang'anya ardhi ama ni ya kutuchungulia ardhi?
This is our petition.
While receiving the petition, County Commissioner Geoffrey Omoding said he would push to have the issues addressed.
Hii petition tumechukua na nataka kuhakikishia nyinyi ya kwamba itafikia His Excellency the President Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Mimi nataka pia kuthibitisha ya kwamba serikali iko na masikio na macho, so imesikia na itaona vile nyinyi mtasaidiwa, si ndio?
For Lunchtime News, I'm Esther Bodo.
Well, we now cross over to the courts. My colleague Serafina Robi has been pitching camp in the area for a while now. This as the hearings by the IEBC Tribunal are underway. Serafina, good afternoon. Give us the latest developments from your end.
Indeed, a very good afternoon, Irene, Muchuma, Odim. We're coming to you live from the Milimani Law Courts, but we are following up on the IEBC Dispute Resolution Committees that are sitting here at the Milimani Law Courts, and today is about the 6th day when they are listening to disputes that have been filed by different aspirants contesting not being cleared by different arrows all over the country. And today we've been following up on some of the key complaints that were lodged or filed by presidential aspirants, key among them being artist, one that was filed by artist Ruben Kigame, who was contesting not being cleared, seeking to be cleared, whereby his lawyers have contested. One of his lawyers, who is Dr. John Khamino, saying that he should be cleared and not be the grounds on not being cleared, not be based on technicalities. Well, the other aspirant that we've been following up includes the Umoja Summit Party presidential aspirant, who is Walter Mongare Nyambane, who is also seeking to be cleared, and the grounds on which he was not cleared were based on his academic qualifications, whereby the committee or the IBC Arrow and lawyers say that he was not cleared on the basis that the degree he holds or he presented was not genuine, and Mongare has been able to defend himself in court through his lawyers, and he was also given a chance to speak in court, whereby he said that this is really tainting his name and he should be cleared, as his lawyers also try to defend that, saying that a degree should not be based on the fact that it's a paper, but the process that leads to the graduation or the person being given, being conferred the degree. Well, the IEBC Dispute Resolution Committee has said that it's going to determine the decision on the complaint on the 19th of June, which is coming, and also the complaint filed by Ruben Kigame will also be determined on the 19th of June. Well, the other complaint that we're also following up involves that the one that was filed by Ekuru Aukot, who was also seeking to be cleared to vie for the seat of the presidential seat. And this was not cleared by the IEBC. And several reasons were given, key among them being that he refused to attach copies of IDs, saying that this was not constitutional, or it's not constitutional. And the IEBC lawyer, the Arrow lawyer who was representing the IEBC, told the court that these are regulations that were put in place, and everyone who is seeking to vie then needed to comply to the regulations, including attaching the copies of national IDs as required. Therefore, we are following up on these matters, and we are expecting to get a ruling also on that at around 8 p.m. today. There are also a couple of complaints that we are expecting to get to hear the rulings that will be delivered by the Dispute Resolution Committee, some of which include that of also another presidential aspirant who is Jimmy Wanjigi. The hearing was had yesterday up to late in the night, and the committee gave a determination that it's going to give its decision today at around 6 p.m. So we'll be keeping tabs here at the Milimani locals to ensure that we get to let you know all that will be determined by the IEBC Dispute Resolution Committee. Back to you in studio, Irene.
Afina Robe reporting live from the courts, our season reporter, giving us updates in regards to the hearings at the courts. Be sure to catch up with her in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9 p.m. and also in the day as events unfold. To other matters, a cross-section of politicians vying for elective positions in the county of Mombasa in the forthcoming general election is accusing the county government for denying them an opportunity to advertise their bids on billboards. Led by vibrant Democratic Party leader Awiti Bolo, who is vying for the Mombasa gubernatorial seat, the politicians claim the firm mandated to manage advertisements on billboards spaces has declined to allow them to put up their campaign materials. The same sentiments were expressed by Nyali parliamentary candidates on an independent ticket, Eric Gitonga, and Mombasa senatorial UPIA candidate Cornelius Mtune. The leaders were addressing the media during the launch of a women brigade dubbed Warembo na Awiti Azmio in Nyali constituency, Mombasa County.
Billboard iko wazi, na ukimpigia yule ambaye ni supplier ya billboard, anakuambia kwamba Awiti, license yangu itakuwa cancel. Mwanabiashara. Yani, we are not allowed to display our campaign.
We cannot put our billboard because they have been paid. We are tuko kwa shida kwana. Wamekataa kutupatia billboards, na bwana Awiti anajua, na najua ameandika hata barua ya complaint, because they have taken all the billboards. We can't put our pictures anywhere unless tuende tukibeba mabango. Lakini Mungu ako na sisi. Tutabeba bango na tutaonekana na hiyo. Mungu ako na sisi.
Garissa Governor Ali Korane says there is need for communities living along the Isiolo-Garissa border to coexist harmoniously for the sake of development. Korane said it was unfortunate that people who lived as neighbors for generations have turned against each other because of pasture.
Speaking during a one-day political campaign tour to Lagdera sub-county, Korane called on the national government to set up a task force to ascertain and decide on the boundaries between Isiolo and Garissa counties.
Isiolo ni watu ambao ni ndugu zetu, na tumekaa kwa muda mrefu, tumeishi pamoja karibu miaka 140, na tunataka kuishi pamoja kwa usalama, na tutahakikisha kwamba tutaendelea kuzungumza mpaka tupate amani ambayo itaweza kutuwezesha kuishi pamoja.
The governor further expressed concerns on the interdiction of local chiefs in Kambi, Samaki and Tokojo location recently, adding that the decision was ill-advised as they have not committed any offense.
Jambo ambalo limetokea siku chache zilizopita, ambao iko chief wawili ambao wamesimamishwa kazi, nafikiri hiyo ni makosa kubwa sana, kwa sababu chief hajajiandika kazi. Nitafuatilia jambo hilo na county commissioner, regional commissioner, permanent secretary pamoja na cabinet secretary, kuona ya kwamba hawa chief wanarudishwa kazi.
The Residents, however, have been called upon to live and maintain peace so as to put an end to the perennial killings over pasture and boundary conflicts.
Isiolo na watu ya Garissa binillah albari popote mahali kwa amani maendeleo itakuja, lakini kama hakuna amani hakuna maendeleo yatakuja.
Sisi na Borona tutakuwa wadugu, na hivyo basi mimi nauliza gavana yetu tutatua hiyo maneno, tukae wadugu maisha na milele.
Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
A section of education stakeholders in Nairobi County have set up a skills development center along the Eastern Bypass to benefit children studying under the competence-based curriculum. The facility is expected to help learners test theory lessons practically in a classroom setup.
Gravity CBC Center, located in Eastern Bypass, is a facility set up to provide learners with space for entertainment as they engage in practical lessons to test theories learned under the new competency-based curriculum.
I enjoyed the farm more because we learned about how to plant crops, which can also contribute a lot to food security in our country.
It was very fun. We've learned a lot of things. I think it will benefit our future, and I am in grade 6.
Wameweza kusoma mambo mengi. Kuna vitu ambavyo labda wamevisikia tu pale darasani kama mimea yetu ya kiasili ikiwemo mtama na mawele ambayo wameweza kuona wimbi mara ya kwanza. Wengi wao walikuwa hawajawahi kuona ule mmea, lakini leo wamekuja shambani na wakaweza kuiona ile mmea. Wengi walishangaa.
Duncan Irene, the director of Gravity Park CBC Center, says the facility was established by education stakeholders keen on giving learners a wholesome learning experience.
Actually, we thought in our own way we could contribute to, making, giving the students and the teachers or the stakeholders a softer learning, in the implementation. And we thought we would come up with a center where we would cover the entire aspects of CBC, right from the environmental studies to science and technology, and that's how we ended up, coming up with this facility.
We place water in this tumbler.
Irene is appealing to school heads in the area practicals to see a project as an affordable option for practical lessons.
Other stakeholders should be thinking of how we can make it easier for the schools to be able to offer what they need to offer to the students at a cheaper cost and a more convenient way without necessarily sometimes involving the parents too much.
Irene is appealing to school heads in the area to see the project as an affordable option for practical lessons. Plans are underway to roll out the centers countrywide to benefit more learners.
Now, reports from the Kenya Data and Health Survey 2014 shows that 1 in every 5 girls between 15 and 19 years of age is either pregnant or already a mother. Many go through psychological torture, which to a great extent is unfortunately perpetrated by adults entrusted to protect them. Andrew Okero visited Greenland Girls in Kajiado, where the school has enrolled more than 80 teen mothers aged between 13 and 20 years of age as a move to keep the girls in school and protect them from stigmatization.
Alikuwa ananidharau tu, alikuwa amesema wewe saia wewe si mtu sasa.
Akanitia mimba na akaruka, akasema hajainiona, hajainisikia. Akaniambia jipange na ameniacha katikati ya kitanda hizi beds za 6x6.
For much of human history, it was common that girls married during their late adolescence and experienced a first birth during their second decade of life. This kind of reproductive behavior was considered normal. Nowadays, however, the prevention of teenage pregnancies and teenage motherhood is a priority around the world.
So if in 5 years we are losing 1.9 million girls, then the future of women in this country, if nothing is done to bring these girls back to school, our future as women is not bright.
The magnitude of the problem extends to social, mental, and economic well-being of pregnant girls, as most of them are not able to complete their education despite the existence of policies that support their resumption to school after delivery.
Lengo kuu ni kuhusiana na kuwapa tumaini jingine. Kwa kuwa katika maisha haya wamesaulika yaliyowatendekea, unapata kwamba ni bila hiari yao.
According to the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Agency, every day in developing countries, an estimation of about 20,000 girls younger than 18 give birth. After the struggles of pregnancy, the Greenland girls in Kajiado County have made it their responsibility to give these young girls a second chance in their education and life. Here, teenage mothers and pregnant girls, many of whom were forced out of their local schools, now aspire to complete their education.
The moment they gave birth, their position were given out to other students. So there was no space for them back there. And they didn't know how they can get back to school. And there are some who told me, yes, I went back to school, but I could not stay there because of stigma and discrimination.
Janet, not a real name, is a Form 2 student at the school. Life as she knew it changed after she was impregnated by a son to an influential person in government while in class 7.
So vile alimaliza kavaa nguo zake akaenda. After kuenda mimi nika struggle, so nimeshindwa cha kufanya. And that moment nilikuwa na bleed.
Immaculate was a victim of teenage pregnancy at the age of 14. Young and innocent, she was left stranded after mother left her under the custody of her aunt. Life was tough.
The experience ilikuwa so bad, ilikuwa so painful. Yani kila mtu around you anakuruka, anajifanya yani si rafiki tena, familia inakuruka, yani wewe tena si wao tena.
Purity, who hails from the conservative Maasai culture, says this is a safe haven.
Aliposikia hiyo nilikuwa na mimba, hakuwa ilikuwa tu alikuwa ananidharau tu, alikuwa amesema wewe saia wewe si mtu sasa.
The school, which launched the Teen Mothers program in 2018, has had its first cohort finish Form 4 in 2021. Sylvia, who is an alumnus at the school, says the skills she acquired have been of great value to her.
I don't know what I would have been if I remained back at home without going back to school. And still, the time that I was in Greenland was really much put in developing who I am or who I've become.
Urban informal settlement is mostly affected by the surge of teenage pregnancies, with majority opting to seek services of quacks to procure abortions, while those who choose to keep the baby are left with limited access to essential healthcare services. What is the plight of Kenya's teen moms with teenage pregnancy and motherhood prevalence standing at 18%? What is the education future like? What laws have been implemented to address the vices associated with teenage pregnancies? It is a wake-up call to strike when the iron is still hot and end this scourge. Andrew Kero for Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much for that good report. Now, a section of political leaders allied to Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance has continued to drum up support for Raila Odinga's presidential bid. In Laikipia, Governor Nderetu Mureithi said the country would only be safe under the leadership of Raila, adding that he is a man that can be trusted.
Laikipia Governor Nderetu Mureithi has continued to woo residents of Laikipia North to vote for Azimio leaders during the August general elections. Mureithi took his campaigns to the pastoralist communities in the region to popularize the former Prime Minister's presidential bid. Nderetu, who is also seeking his second term, said Odinga is best fit to bring development in the country.
Ya wewe na mimi kuchagua Raila Amolo Odinga awe rais wa 5 wa jamhuri. Raila Odinga anasema hivi: kwanza, tuhakikishe usalama wa kila Mkenya katika kona yetu anaishi, kwa sababu kila Mkenya ako na haki kuishi Kenya yote na mahali popote ambapo yeye anataka. Wangapi wanaunga hiyo mkono?
In Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamket has drummed up support for Azimio la Umoja candidate Raila Odinga, saying his term has come to ascend to presidency. In a series of rallies in Tiati constituency, Kamket said Kenyans should reject other presidential candidates, adding that Raila Odinga had the transformative agenda for the country.
Kwa hivyo sisi kama watu wa Tiati tumesimama imara katika chama cha KANU. Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ni nani? Raila Amolo Odinga.
Finally, Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi has launched a major onslaught against his former boss Raila Odinga and his ODM party in the grassroots with a view to shifting allegiance to his Pamoja African Alliance. Kingi insists that despite Kilifi's unwavering political support for ODM over the years, they have been constantly left out on important national issues.
Na kwa sababu tulishinda viti vingi kwa chama cha ODM, tulijua wazi kwamba hata madiwani maalum tutapatiwa kwa sababu tumefanya vyema. Lakini badala ya chama cha ODM kuzawadi wakazi wa Kilifi, wao wakapiga teke mkazi wa Kilifi.
He noted that he came up with PAA so as to ensure the region's interests are pushed through the party, as opposed to the previous situation where they were in other parties. The county boss is now drumming up support for Kenya Kwanza team to win votes in Kilifi.
Kura ni maslahi. Marereni hamtarauka tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 kwenda unda foleni kupiga na hamna sababu wala malengo. Mutafanya hivyo kwa sababu mna sababu na malengo ni kwa nini mnapiga kura yenu. Wow.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
You can donate blood anywhere across the country at your nearest Kenya National Blood Transfusion Service Satellite Center. Help save lives by donating blood.
Abantu ba Minto Buyamore, stesheni inayoipenda ya Minto FM inakualika ujumuike nasi katika bonge la roadshow itakayofanyika kwenye kaunti ya Nyamira siku ya Alhamisi tarehe 16 Juni. Msafara wa Minto FM utapitia Kijauri, Nyansiongo, Manga, Keroka, Gesima, Bosoveti, Konate, Dangenyo, Nyamira na Miruka. Nayo tarehe 17 tutatembelea maeneo ya Ikonge, Ekerenyu, Magwangwa, Magombo, Tombe, Kemera, Omogonchoro, Getare, Jogo na kumalizia mjini Kisii. Kutakuwa na vichekesho, burudani na zawadi kemkem za kushindaniwa. Pia utakutana na kikosi kizima cha watangazaji unaowaenzi.
Minto FM yenye karuga y'ubuhusi.
After 18 months of intense construction, Africa's grandest expressway, the Nairobi Expressway, is finally open to the public, albeit on a pilot basis. This road is fast becoming a model of public-private partnership here in Africa. But what do we know yet about this expressway since it was opened to the public on the 14th of May 2022?
If Thika Road was version 2.0, then this is version 2.1. So we have gone to a higher level of delivering roads. And that's really will be the legacy that we should remember President Kenyatta, that he showed us that it's possible to do more by encompassing the capacity, the will, and the resources of broader team of stakeholders.
This week on Inside Government, we are talking about the Nairobi Expressway, and we are talking to the chairman of Kenya National Highways Authority, Engineer Wangai Girang. Watch the program right here on KBC Channel 1.
There's still time. Take this girl back to Green Hill before her father returns.
When Father returns, I'll talk to him and break off the engagement.
And you're now in love with another woman from Green Hill? Throw her down the void hole. Yes.
Show mercy, my king, my king.
You're just up right now.
That's not ordinary lightning. It's lightning that's intended to be used in trials. To not withstand it would mean death.
It seems being the prince isn't a blessing, but a misfortune.
都是假象。
Why are you looking at me like that for?
Helping with the actual cooking. I think Andy.
Yeah?
I think he's gonna ask me to marry him. I actually need help with the kitchen.
Are you sure that you need my help, honey bun?
I don't even know where I am.
Sorry, it's okay. Don't do anything stupid.
You stay there. No funny business. I'll shoot.
It's okay, just...
They're looking for suspected carjacker. We cornered him and his friend down the road.
Is there anything else?
Yes.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching the Lunchtime News. Welcome back. Now, Kenya has marked the 10-year anniversary of the deworming program for school-going children aged between 2 and 14 years. The program has administered more than 53 million doses since inception in a bid to counter malnutrition, poor growth, and poor mental health brought about by parasitic worms.
While speaking at Mundika Boys Primary School in Busia County, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, said under the school's deworming program, the ministry has administered deworming medicines to 6.4 million children in the year 2021. A total of 53 million children have been treated since 2012, surpassing the World Health Organization's target of reaching 75% of at-risk children.
School-age children since 2012. In 2021 alone, the program treated 6.4 million children, accounting for 87% of children at risk, surpassing WHO's target of reaching 75% of children at risk.
Dr. Mann further noted that the government, in partnership with Evidence Action, has formulated a third agreement to ensure the continuity of the program for the next 5 years.
Ministry of Health, together with the Ministry of Education and our partner Evidence Action, will soon sign this agreement, which will guarantee the continuity of the program for the next 5 years.
Busia is among the 27 counties heavily infested by the parasitic worms.
Worm infestation results in our children being malnourished despite being fed the correct diet. Worm infestation also leads to poor growth, stunting, and poor mental performance. This, unfortunately, could have lifelong effects that continue to impact the children long into adulthood.
Chief Officer for Health Jonathan Ino said his department has a target of administering 254,000 doses to pupils across the county.
Going to vaccinate children in and out of school in the ages of 2 to 14 years, both for soil-transmitted helminthes and also the streptococcus. We'll vaccinate around 254,000.
Kenya Medical Research Institute researcher for natural products Dr. Festus Tolo said a survey of 200 schools drawn from 6 counties show that soil-transmitted helminth infections have reduced from 33.6% to 12.9% as a result of the program.
Has shown significant reductions in infection rates. Soil-transmitted helminth infections have steadily reduced in these areas from baseline infection of 33.6% to the current 12.9%.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Samuel Karaoke.
Thank you for staying with us. Time for Channel 1 Business News. The government has launched an ambitious program to boost micro and small enterprises across the country by supporting the jua kali industry. The program's aim is to boost the quality of goods produced, create a conducive work environment that supports women, and increase income among the jua kali artisans.
The government has embarked on a drive to support young innovators from the jua kali sector and technical graduates to enhance their employability and productivity. The government has set aside 1.2 billion over the last 3 years for constituency industrial development centers across the country, which has gone into infrastructure, utilities, equipment and training. The objective of supporting the sector has been to create a thriving MSC's ecosystem that contributes about 25% to the national GDP. The incentives for the purchase of equipment and machinery and the creation of a better working environment will help jua kali artisans boost their production. Micro and Small Enterprise Authority Director for Infrastructure, Engineer Karan Njeru, said the government has invested heavily in the sector. He warned that the authority is working with the relevant agencies to repossess grabbed land for MSCs across the country.
Leo tuko hapa kwa ajili ya mradi ambayo tunatekeleza nchi mzima, na ni mradi wa kusupport wanajua kali. Intoto tumeweza tumia kutoka mahali tumesimama kujenga huyo mjengo, kuleta ile transformer pale, kujenga hii shed machine, unaweza kuwa kwa sasa umegharimu karibu milioni 8.
Kitale Jua Kali Sector Chairman Peter Sifuna noted that they are faced with many financial and working environment challenges that have affected their productivity. He noted that the government should improve the working environment to motivate women to join the lucrative sector.
In technical schools utapata wanawake wa kike ni wengi wanajifunza hii kazi, lakini wakikuja Jua Kali kwa sababu ya changamoto hardship ile iko hapa Jua Kali inafanya kwamba wana give up. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kwamba pia turumsea national government iweze kuweka rasilimali katika technical na pia jua kali ndio tuweze kuaccommodate wale wanapokuja katika kujoin katika jua kali hii.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
A 27-year-old student at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology has made it to the top 30 under 30 Forbes Africa list of brightest achievers. Dr. Joan Ruguru Kimani was propelled to the Hall of Fame thanks to her contribution towards crucial information on children and parenting on the digital space. How does she do this? Yusuf Farah met Dr. Ruguru at JKUAT and filed the following report for this week's edition of The Young and Industrious.
Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Juja, Kiambu County. We link up with Dr. Joan Ruguru Kimani, a student pursuing Bachelor of Medicine in Surgery. Apart from her studies here, Dr. Ruguru has a keen interest in global health policy making in regards to children's health.
I had gone swimming with my siblings and I saw a mother beat up her child ruthlessly because she poured soda on the floor. I'm the firstborn of 6 children, and so I've seen how my parents have brought me up very well, a strong Christian background, and I felt like maybe if I wrote about it, a parent like that would get help.
This passion will lead to the birth of Exciting Parenting in the year 2016, a webpage dedicated to information on children and parenting. Her contribution towards child health and parenting catapulted her to bagging the 2020 winner of the Top 35 Under 35 Youth of the Year award.
That's when I actually felt like I was making some impact in health, and that really catapulted me to keep going.
Exciting Parenting touches on diverse issues on children's health that Dr. Ruguru attributes to well-researched information during her pediatric classes and experience parents have gone through in raising their little ones.
I found it important to borrow my lessons from the clinical rotations to be able to sensitize parents on how to bring up their children well in regards to health. I borrowed a few things, a few lessons, and then I broke them down in a way that the common mwananchi is going to understand and learn, because medical jargon can be something else.
Her blog grew to reaching audiences across 10 countries globally. Her outstanding work and contribution played a key role in her name making it to the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 class of 2022 Achievers list. She received this news while at home and couldn't hide her joy.
I first of all told my family, then told my mentors, told my friends, and then waited for when I could officially announce the story on social media. So you get onto social media, people are congratulating you, your pictures are all over. So with time, that's when I understood that life has changed.
The university's Vice-Chancellor Professor Victoria Wambui Ngumi congratulated Dr. Ruguru, saying the institution received the news with delight and elation, even as she said JKUAT continues to provide conducive avenues for their students to learn and follow their passion.
We encourage them to do research in areas which they are interested in. Our professors are ready to work with them to develop those ideas. We do show off our alumni, and especially those who do so well, like Joanne.
Dr. Ruguru has had mentors that have been instrumental in her growth, and through the interactions they've had with her platform, they're able to learn and see her growth.
And when you look at the issues she's talking of, or the issues she's discussing in her blog, things which we would commonly struggle with. She's able to attract traffic, and she's able to explain things in a language that is understandable to most people.
I've been doing a couple of jobs here and there. I've had a couple of internships in organizations in the medical field. And what I can say, I got those opportunities because I had a blog.
Ruguru is set to graduate with the class of June 2022, and with the accolades he has already received thanks to her work in the field of children's health, she is hopeful of an even brighter future in her field and passion.
I'm also looking to getting into conferences and also learning platforms with other bloggers in different niches, and to also learn about what they're doing.
For the young girls in secondary schools, the young girl in primary schools, they too can watch her and see that the sky is the limit.
Dr. Ruguru hopes to hold a position at the World Health Organization in the future, even as she looks forward to helping the children on a global level. Yusufa reporting for Young and Industries from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Kiambu County.
Now, across the borders, the United States, through the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, is providing $105 million in critical humanitarian aid to bring immediate relief to Somalia. The United States has provided more than $507 million in humanitarian assistance across the region since the beginning of the 2022 fiscal year. Here now are the details of the story and much more across Africa.
Russia's war on Ukraine is further deepening a dire food crisis in Somalia, as already elevated food, fuel, and fertilizer prices soar and shortages worsen. The country can no longer import critical wheat and other grains from Ukraine due to Russia's aggression. Almost 70% of Somalia's grain comes from Ukraine. The region is in the midst of a 4 consecutive failed rainy season, with worsening drought conditions increasing the likelihood of famine for hundreds and thousands of people. Meanwhile, Tunisia is seeking to expand wheat cultivation to 800,000 hectares as part of a campaign to achieve strategic food security and cut reliance on imports. The government also plans to increase the provision of inputs to farmers. The measures put in place are a response to the challenges caused by the war between Russia and Ukraine, one of the main grain-producing countries in the world, and Tunisia's grain suppliers. Supply chain disruptions and sanctions against Moscow have driven up oil prices and inflation, promoting fears of upheaval in emerging markets trying to recover from the pandemic. Tunisia imported more than 1.5 million tons of wheat in 2021. Finally, Morocco has invited Saudi Arabia to contribute to a fund to spur investments, seeking economic gains from its close political alliance with the Gulf monarchy. The Moroccan economy is expected to slow to 1.5 this year from 7.9 last year on the back of drought and imported inflationary pressures. The country wants Saudi Arabia to contribute to Morocco's planned $4.5 billion investment fund that aims to boost its post-pandemic economic recovery. The yet-to-be-activated fund has received an initial contribution of $1.5 billion from the state budget, with the rest to be raised from national and international donors. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Charity Mudhoni.
You can now have your payment to online merchants delayed while doing online transactions until you confirm arrival of your goods. With the increase of online fraudsters, innovators have found a way of bringing back trust in e-commerce through confirmation-based electronic protocols. Our reporter Alan Oko looks at how a student-led startup uses such protocols to safeguard client funds.
According to a Gartner report, e-commerce is already a 4.1 trillion shillings market with the potential to reach 15 trillion shillings by 2025 in emerging markets like Kenya. Locally, e-commerce represents 60% of digital commerce, with 8 out of 10 consumers exposed to online shopping exclusively via e-commerce. This means that an increasing number of SMEs are seeking tech-based solutions for activities like payments.
85% of merchants in Africa rely on social media to make sales of their products. And notice that as a result, sales are narrowing down because of lack of trust between buyers and sellers in these platforms.
Meet Alvin Munyao, an innovator who believes Kenya still has the greatest potential for innovation due to its outpouring demand.
The potential is really huge because social commerce is valued at $30 billion US. So we want really to...
We'll be bringing you details on that story later on in the subsequent bulletins. For now, we cross over to Murang'a, where the Azimio Umoja Brigade is pitching camp. Let's cross over and listen in.
Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa miaka mitano. Najua pale pesa iko. Sawa. Najua yale mianya pale wanafanyanga naye tuangie kwa hazina zetu na kuiba pesa zetu. Sasa ile anaingia ni membamba kama shindano. Baada ya mwaka moja amefura kama kupe. Utaziba hizo zote upate pesa ya kutosha ya kumudi mpango. Alafu kuna wale wa mama ambao wana watoto na hawana mabwana. Single parent mothers. Baadhi wengine bwana yake alifariki akadubaki na watoto, yeye ni mjane. Wengine walioana lakini maisha yakawa mbaya wakawachana, talaka, baki na watoto. Wengine walidanganywa na kijana, oh dani nakupenda sana, nitakuoa. Waendelee kufanya kazi. Mtoto umetoka, kijana ametoroka. Mama anapata shida mingi sana, sio? Na watoto yao vile vile wanapata shida kwa upande elimu, sio? Watapata msaada kutoka kwa serikali ya baba na mama. Wanaunga mkono. Wangapi wanaunga mkono ni wale mkono. Nataka sisi tutaimarisha hali ya wafanyabiashara. Vile vile gharama ya maisha itarudi chini. Bei ya unga itarudi chini, bei ya sukari itarudi chini, bei ya mafuta taa itarudi chini. Sawa? Mko tayari kutembea na sisi? Mko tayari nani kwa mkono tena? Basi nataka vijana muwe wanajeshi wa baba. Baba. Kwa wanajeshi wa baba mpaka uwe na bunduki na risasi. Bunduki ni kitambulisho, risasi ni kura. Unazo. Kwa tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 alfajiri, baba kama mwanajeshi mkuu anatoa amri kwa jeshi yake. Atapiga parapanda kusema namna hii: jeshi get together. Jeshi forward march. Jeshi about done. Jeshi fire. Vijana fire. Vijana fire. Vijana fire. Vijana fire. Vijana fire. Vijana fire. Reta que guía va a estar ahora rumbo.
The Azimio la Umoja Brigade in Murang'a, Central Kenya, this as Kenya Kwanza is this afternoon pitching camp in Vihiga, Western Kenya. We have able teams on the ground. Be sure to catch up with them for details in the subsequent bulletins. Now, back to that story by Alan Oko on Take One. You can now have your payment to online merchants delayed while doing online transactions until you confirm the arrival of your goods. With the increase of online fraudsters, innovators have found a way of bringing back trust in e-commerce through confirmation-based electronic protocols. My colleague now looks at how a student-led startup uses such protocols to safeguard clients' funds. Have a look.
According to a Gartner report, e-commerce is already a 4.1 trillion shillings market with the potential to reach 15 trillion shillings by 2025 in emerging markets like Kenya. Locally, e-commerce represents 60% of digital commerce, with 8 out of 10 consumers exposed to online shopping exclusively via e-commerce. This means that an increasing number of SMEs are seeking tech-based solutions for activities like payments.
85% of merchants in Africa rely on social media to make sales of their products. And notice that as a result, sales are narrowing down because of lack of trust between buyers and sellers in these platforms.
Meet Alvin Munyao, an innovator who believes Kenya still has the greatest potential for innovation due to its outpouring demand.
The potential is really huge because social commerce is valued at $30 billion US. So we want really to help scale social commerce in Africa, which is a really ignored market, considering that these markets are really efficient.
Munyao says his innovation will go a long way in bringing back trust in e-commerce at a time when fraudulent traders hoodwink unsuspecting Kenyans into purchasing ghost products online.
Let's say you want to order something, a sneaker on Instagram. That person will deliver it the same time, same day. So we really want to boost also efficiency of commerce in Africa. So that's where we decided to come up with this solution as well, to boost SME growth also in Africa.
Students like Munyao have benefited from incubation and support from institutions like the Management University of Africa.
One of the ways that we create enabling environments is by ensuring that there is adequate infrastructure. Infrastructure in terms of learning centers, in terms of learning blocks, in terms of ensuring that there is equipment where necessary, so that the teaching itself is done in a manner which ensures that the student is able to get the knowledge.
However, there is still need to expand the pool of innovative and knowledgeable talent.
Education is very expensive. A lot of people would like to go through the education until they achieve their objective, and that the right knowledge to enable them, live comfortably, come up with, either self-employment or be employed somewhere, but they're not able to because of lack of finances.
Kenya is increasingly emerging as a place of technological excellence, and its students are coming up to fill the gap that has been created by a myriad of problems that they find they can solve using technology. Alan Oko, Take One.
And on that note, we get to the sports news. Kenya will face Tanzania in the final of the Kwibuka Women's T20 tournament in Kigali, Rwanda tomorrow. Also, the men's team are in Uganda for the 2022 Uganda Cricket World Cup Challenge League.
Needing a victory in their final match against Germany yesterday to secure second place, Kenya won the toss and elected to bat. The women's team scored 119 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their allotted 20 overs. Player of the match, Quinta Abel, top scored for Kenya with 24 runs from 24 balls. Vanessa Oko and wicketkeeper Sharon Juma added 20 runs each. Asmita Kohli, Sharanya Sadarangani and Antonia Mayenborg took 1 wicket each for Germany. In reply, the Germans were restricted to 75 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in 20 overs, granting Kenya a 44-run win. Captain Christina Goff top scored for Germany with 47 runs off 51 balls. Quinta Abel and Sarah Bakita took 1 wicket each for Kenya, the others coming through run-outs. The result saw Kenya finish second at the end of the round-robin phase and face Tanzania in tomorrow's final. Meanwhile, the men's national team are in Uganda for the 2022 Uganda Cricket World Cup Challenge League B, the tournament which forms part of the qualification pathway to the 2023 Cricket World Cup has 8 teams. Kenya opened their campaign against Bermuda at the Chambogo Oval tomorrow. For Lunchtime News, I am Daniel Wahome.
The Egyptian Football Association has sacked Ehab Galal as coach after just 3 games in charge of the national team. 54-year-old Galal replaced Carlos Queiroz in April after the Pharaohs failed to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
Egypt have parted ways with coach Ehab Galal after just 3 games in charge of the Pharaohs. Galal was appointed by Egypt after a season at Cairo Best Pyramids and previously managed several other sides including Zamalek, El Masri and Al Ahly Tripoli. In his first match in charge in June, Egypt claimed a late 1-0 win over Guinea in a Nations Cup qualifier. But he was dismissed after a shock 2-0 defeat to Ethiopia in a 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier and 4-1 friendly loss against South Korea. EFA board member Hazem Imam said they will look to appoint a foreign coach. Elsewhere, Italian Serie A newcomers Lecce have signed Gambia international Hassan Cisse on a free transfer. The 28-year-old forward joins from Swiss champions FC Zurich, having scored 22 goals in 36 club appearances last season. Cisse has agreed a 2-year contract with Lecce with the option of a 3rd year.
We have come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Thank you for your time. My name is Irene Muchuma Odem. On sign language interpretation, we have Lanza Odingo. Till some other time, God bless you.